Hey guys, what's up? It's Alexander Williamson, out of focus. Uh, Welcome to the secret history living inside of your aquarium. Let me get some more light in here. Ah, there we go. Some artificial light. That's what everyone needs in their life. Alright, guys. Alluring betas first. Welcome. Hello. Oh, well, thank you for the love for the channel. I'm doing much better than when I was last on, which was almost a week ago now, I think. Yeah, almost a week. For those of you who didn't know, let me just get it out of the way in case you think I'm being spacey or weird. Got hit, a power line by my house or a tree or something around here got hit by lightning, ran down the pole, hit me while I was out on the porch there, and put me out of commission for a while. But now I am talking better. I just have to sleep like 12 hours a day, take like a nap or two, and sleep a lot at night and not overdo. So, um, yeah, I was up in Canada for the last 5 days with my wife. She had a scheduled vacation and things booked, and even though I'd had the accident, I decided let's go to Canada. Like, she only gets so much vacation, so we went instead of for like 8 days, we went for 5. So I feel kind of bad about that, but essentially we just rested at these hot springs that are about 3-4 hours north of Seattle, up in the mountains, and about not standing in the rain. There's a Terry Pratchett quote, huh? I got to meet him way back when I was younger. Um, so in any case, or no, I'm thinking of someone else. I'm thinking of the guy who did the Red Wall books, not the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Um, I have here a cocktail you may have seen. Um, this is a martini of sorts. This is a fish martini made out of larvae. Um, Basically, so where I went to was up in Vancouver, BC. If you go up to there and then you go east, there's a place called Harrison Lake. Harrison Hot Springs on the southern end of the lake. It's like a 50, 60 mile long lake, a huge lake, and up in the mountains. Beautiful, beautiful place. I have a whole video devoted to it, to the time up there that I'll upload tomorrow. And I went to the hot springs because the lake actually has really, really incredible biodiversity. There's over 250 types of aquatic mosses and ferns that are semi-aquatic or aquatic, and or pellia as it may be. And basically, while we were up there, we did a short hike to a waterfall and got to see some really cool stuff. And then there was a nice, easy, flat hike around the edge of the lake where I went to the hot springs. And in the hot springs, it comes out at 150 degrees into the lake and boiling like at the source of the hot spring, but they have it kind of cordoned off since the 1920s because too many people kept getting boiled. How's that for an image for you? But so you'll see all that coming up in a video, but I don't want to ruin the video, but I found a very unexpected fish living in a hot spring, uh, literally in a hot spring, like where only algae was living. There was also a species of fish that is invasive, and it was in Harrison Hot Springs, not in the lake where it mixes, but it had actually gone up the channel, the little passageway up and around this embankment thing that they've built, and was living in the hot springs, in the sulfur smelling, steaming hot springs. And the sulfur was just overwhelming when I filmed the thing, and so were the horseflies. But it was good to get back out. I'm still not moving quite right, but yeah. So that and sometimes I still have mix-ups with words, so forgive me about that. But basically, I've been gone for all that time, and I just want to show you what my tanks look like. I did some prep ahead of time, and I can talk about that, trying to help the tanks. I didn't have any of my CO2 on, and for a good chunk of it, I didn't have lights on. I had lights on 2 days because a friend came by and turned them on for 10 hours for me. So that was nice of him. But it's been warm here, and so I don't know exactly how hot it got, but I think 80, 85 perhaps, which in our house means it got about 105 because we're on the third floor. Let me take you guys out back to the scene of the crime. I'll never do time. Metal, black metal roof, and the sun is setting over there, but we basically get sun, and then literally we have a greenhouse effect for our porch. So it just heats up the house, plus being 3 stories up, we get all the heat going up from the units below. So needless to say, I was kind of worried about how the tanks would be doing, plus they generate their own heat, and your tanks, if you didn't know it, they actually hold heat. And this tank I left and I took a picture of, and there was this much duckweed and water lettuce and salvinia when I left. Coming back, the entire thing in 7 days of not trimming back the duckweed. That's what we have going on. Pretty crazy, I think, personally. So what's going on in this tank? This is kind of the least extreme of the tanks up here, so I figured I'd start with that. I didn't want to bury the lead. Yes, the stutter has gotten a lot better. If I rest, that seems to be the key. If I don't, I start getting loopy and not making sense and forgetting what I'm talking about or almost daydreaming. But again, I wanted to thank all of you who've it's so kind that have helped me out on the GoFundMe. I've talked to some dentists while I was up in Canada, called some, and also, I've got all my x-rays from my dentists in the past down here, down in Washington, and talked to my normal dentist, and basically just kind of got some price quotes. Canada does not seem to be a ton cheaper than the States for Americans for dental, but Mexico, Croatia, Thailand, a lot of the places that people have mentioned seem to be much, much, much cheaper. And so we'll probably be going with one of those options. And I wanted to thank you all so much because people have chipped in something like $2,500 on the GoFundMe. And normally I wouldn't ever really want to do something like GoFundMe, but lightning, right? So I figured, all right, if I get hit by lightning, it's kind of one of those sentences like if I get hit by lightning, or there's good enough chance to get hit by lightning, is that I'd make a GoFundMe. But really, I mean, I put in, my teeth were bad from my lupus anyways, and I put in tens of thousands, literally like almost $20,000 in my teeth a long time ago. And like crowns and things like that can be up to 2,000 a tooth. If you're here in the States, you know that. But a lot of that got broken when the lightning struck and knocked me over. So in this tank, let's just talk real quick. Clearly, not having light and the warmth or whatever it was just definitely did not do well on one of my favorite plants, which is a bummer. I don't know where the ancestress is in here. Well, actually, it's not ancestress. It's a pleco. It's a starlight pleco. Oh, I see him. He's in there somewhere. You can see that blue fin. I want to tell you, though, that the video I'm putting out tomorrow it's going to be from Canada, as I said, but I found a very unexpected fish up in those mountains, and very, very brightly colored. Every color almost you can hope to see in a fish up in British Columbia in water that's glacier fed, and they were living in the hot springs, and pretty incredible. The water was 120 degrees at the coolest of where they probably would have been living, maybe 110 all year round, and unpredictable at that. Can get hotter or colder. So in this tank, it looks like maybe some people are a little slimmer, which is fine. Guppies tend to get these big pot bellies when you just let them eat, because a few overcompete. This is definitely all a female tank, except for the one stud, who is from Lucas Brett's leopard tiger Endler line, and you can see he still has all the energy in the world to mate, so you can't stop guppies from mating, eh? And the nearite snails all are near the top. They do that sometimes. I don't know what drives them to do that, but they do that. Looks like the tank is just under 80 degrees. Hello, everybody. James, Mad Fish Diva, Technoala, hello, Betsy, hello. So let's go ahead and give these guys some food while we're at it. I like to give them Aquarium Co-op's fried food, like some fish and chips, and I just give them a couple squirts of that out of the bottle, and for them that will be fine. And is there any plant that is a must for shrimp keeping? I would say there's nothing that's a must, but what will suit you very well is anything. Yes, I am feeling better. I'm still having to take it easy, but I am feeling much better than I was. Have you ever made DIY fish or shrimp food? Yeah, I will, and we will cover that at another time, probably. I'll do a whole video on that if you'd like. But yeah, it looks like all the plants, everything in here, except for my Nymphea micrantha purple morph, is doing well. The lower leaves are probably still fine, but something definitely happened where the upper leaves died. Might be that it got too warm. I don't know. We had a heat wave for Seattle, and this is the tank where the fish get pregnant, but no one ever gives birth in the tank, which is odd. And then sometimes if I put them alone in another tank, they'll give birth. So they're all eating their babies. And if you listen to my lecture that was an hour and a half long 2 weeks ago on guppies, you might know the answer to why that's happening. But over here we have a tank that this is the big tank. And the lights have been on for a couple hours now. The Nymphea micrantha was this tall when I left. And not having light on in this big of a tank with all the nitrates that were generated by so many fish in a tank, it has caused it to reach for the light and grow very tall. Same with a lot of the other plants. They're growing extremely tall and extremely spaced out. So if you don't have good light, if you don't have nitrogen or CO2 in the water, not to mention sulfur and other things, but if you don't have those, what will happen is your plants will start to grow up and space out, and they tend to do that anyways. And then as the light gets more intense, they get tighter together. What kind of light intensity does Rotala butterfly take? I would put that in the medium to high category to keep it nice and tight together. I think I've got a strand down here that's, my camera's not showing how red it is. I've got another tank that's got it redder. But, so this is the total mixed bag tank with all sorts of things. Oh, Betsy, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Betsy, I've missed you. Also, the algae eating fish, obviously they're fine. What I did do before I left was I overfed this tank a bit. And then I did a big water, so I overfed them for 3 days before leaving, and then I did a large amount of water change, like a 50% on all the tanks the day before I left, and then I fed them a whole bunch one more time. Like sat there, fed them for 2 minutes, waited to see if they ate everything, and then fed them again a little amount, and basically did that until they were like stuffed. And I did that with all the tanks, and that seems to have worked just fine. Some of them not even looking any thinner. Also, I've done an inventory on the tanks in the couple hours I've been home now. And I kind of didn't survey the damage downstairs yet, if there is any, but the danio actually is getting some orange and yellow to he's a fire danio, so that would make sense. And he's a bigger danio species, kind of like a zebra danio, even though he looks like the Kyath danio or the gold ring danio. I've really found myself loving danios lately. Same with the ember tetra and the orange eye lemon tetra. They are kind of miniature versions of each other with slight differences in color. But as you know, we had the big plant giveaway, and I will be shipping those out first thing next week. And this was part of the reason why was I was going to let everything grow. And then I'm running CO2. And this week, for a special deal just for those people who won, I'm going to take the CO2 tank and I'm going to rotate it because I'm going to be home. I'm still relegated to resting. I've got an MRI. And greeting, Bentley. It's so good to have you in here, my friend. I've got an MRI for and a CT scan. I just found out. So yeah. So I'll be home though. That's the bottom line. And I really love how I didn't do this at all. I wish I had, but I'm not as clever as nature. But the moss, I don't know which moss it is, to be quite honest. There's 3 different mosses other than Java moss that are living in here. And they've just taken over the cracks in the rock, and they look really cool. And also, this is just guppy grass, which is naja grass. And it looks like bamboo when you don't give it much light, like started of light. So, all right, let's feed this tank, you guys. They should go pretty crazy because this tank is a savage tank for a bunch of little teeny predators. Also, these tanks were filled to the very brim, and right now we have barely enough water to get the pump going. So we lost gallons of water because of how warm it's been. So let's put some mosquito larvae in there. This is freeze-dried mosquito larvae, and see what comes out. You might see some fish here we haven't seen in a while. Thank you so much for the super chat. Definitely all the super chat money will be going towards medical bills, I'm sure, or actually it'll be going towards fish care for the minimums, and then after that we'll probably have to we'll see what happens, actually, but the tanks are really helping me emotionally, like, stay calm, feel relaxed and centered, and they're just a nice way, especially since I feel a little goofy saying PTSD, but honestly, whenever I have been hearing loud noises and things, I've been jumping and hitting the deck and things like that. So yeah, I'll have to get over that. But yeah, so it's good that this tank, everyone seems good. Neorite snails are good. I did count the fish in this tank, and what's tall with the really slender leaves? This one here. This is Pogostemon erectus. This is Kabamba that's just grown out of control. There's another one that's purple Kabamba. You can see the purple kind of When it closes at night is when you can see it. It opens and closes in the day. Then this is Ludwigia ex lacustris, and it's a bronze color, and it is found in eastern United States of America in ponds, but it cannot propagate through flowering. It has to just break off and propagate through roots and things. And we've also got some bacopa and some interesting plants. I can't even remember how to say a couple of them, but they're from Afghanistan from our club. Someone brought them in as the mystery plant of the month. Got some hygrophilia. We've got some oh, this is an odd thing that I was going to show everybody last time. So I pulled this plant up thinking, wow, this ocelot fern has grown, or sword has grown really crazy, right? I forgot that I never unplanted it. And so it has grown a crypt here. I think this is a Wendetti cryptocurn. And basically they fuse together going for the rock wool. So I'm going to have to untangle this mess soon. But there's a start here. There's at least 2 starts on top. And then here, this guy has grown into the rock wool, you could see. So that, I totally forgot I had submerged next to each other under there when it was a wee little baby. And I guess that's what happens. So I'm going to check all the levels in the tanks very shortly for nitrates and ammonia, all that. There shouldn't be any ammonia, but we'll check all that. And then we'll... yes, so here is the craziest tank of them all. When you guys last saw me, basically this tank, you could see shape like this. It has gone absolutely bonkers. The CO2 in this tank is absolutely what kept the plants dense. You can see things like, like some of the plants here, you can see the spacing here versus compared to down or up at the top here. Also, this is interesting, the hydrocotyl in just that short a time actually grew fast enough in the dimmer light, not having light on, that it grew through some boosts and has lifted the boosts up in its, so now it's a hydrocotyl boost relationship, and I just don't want it sucking energy out of the boost, which it looks like it may be doing. So we'll keep an eye on that, but everybody's good in here. The bulbitis is almost fully switch to its water form. The mosses are doing great. So sometimes letting your tank have a little bit of darkness is kind of an interesting thing to do. Also, you can see the differences in some of, this is the Pontanal that I got from Bentley Pasco. I've also got lots of, here's more Pogostemon octopus here, and Pogostemon erectus here. And I'm sorry, I think I said Pogostemon erectus in the last tank, and I meant to say octopus. Also, we've got Ludwigia pink, we've got Ludwigia Vietnam sunset, we've got lots of just different Ludwigias. We've got a cardinal plant here. We've got, the bacopa back in here. There's pearlweed back in here, more hydrocotyl. It's just, people are going to have their pick of whatever plants they want for this when I talk to them. Out of nowhere, their duckweed is back, of course, because you can never get rid of duckweed. It is the herpes of the fish world. But you can just see some of these, the colors kind of got muted. You see this kind of washed out look. These used to be very bright and vivid. dark like these, or bright pink and bronzes, and they almost got sun bleached looking, but it's not sun bleached. They were in the dark. And also you can see my green jade shrimp that I got from Aquatic Arts. Still doing great. Look at that color. I've just never seen green jade shrimp with such wonderful color ever. So I really like that. Also, it seems that these guppies, or sorry, endlers, have given birth. And there are other babies in the tank. Also, the algae eater, Siamese algae eaters, doing just fine. Uh, I think this is a dense enough tank at this point that down in here I was seeing little teeny. I mean, we've got some interesting new. Um, Shoot, guys, I'm so sorry. Here's some glosso that's growing large for some reason. Under here, though, there's shrimp working. I can see them pulling at things, and a snail under there. And there's baby fish. Not just they're just baby kribs. Lutea starts, yeah. Um, and then back in here, oh, there's the pleco, the one that's left, the other one that died. I still haven't posted any of that video because it's too graphic, showing his belly all swollen with the snail in it that he ate. Silly snail. But you can see that, I mean, I need to put fertilizer in here, definitely. And I'm torn because I put all this time into the hardscape here. But you can see there's Pelia, the Siswasertong, there's just all sorts of like roots and little viney, you know, things sticking out in these tanks. And the fish have gotten so much darker. Look at that. Look how dark my cpds have gotten. And I think it just has to do with how much hiding places they have. They feel comfortable enough now that they're kind of strutting their stuff, and same with my erythromicrons, which is rather interesting. So these are really unexpected effects. I have never had a quote-unquote high-tech, you know, gas setup with ADA soil and you know, all the liquid ferts and iron and all that kind of stuff. But oh yeah, here we go. Here's some very teeny fry that I am not thinking are. I don't think they are. I don't think that they're guppies or endlers rather. If they are, they're this guy's, and there are two females. This one's definitely has not given birth, but is just about ready to, probably in the next 2 or 3 days. And then here's one more male, but he never seems to get the chance to breed, but I am allowing him as an experiment tank to see what. Oh yeah, so here's some of those fry that are so teeny, and they've got an extra fin below. Well, that one has poop on him too, but they've got an extra fin below that's kind of interesting. So I have a secret treat here. This is from the outside tub where I've been growing larvae, and let's give them a taste of some live food. Anybody paying attention? The mamas are hungry. Is that one gonna get by? Alright, so now in theory you can introduce parasites this way. For me, I've not really toiled or lost sleep over that thought. My YouTube still doesn't give me sound alerts. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I was just saying to somebody that for sure you have to put on the little alert thing with the bell to get any alerts for live streams. But other than that, I don't know what to say. I'm gonna try to feed some of these erythromicrons back here. And boy, that wild style, it's a guppy. It's called a blue sky or a blue cloud, or sorry, endler. I mix things up. I'm sorry. I'm getting better though. And It is, you saw it for a moment there, much smaller than the other fish, but this is out of a private pond from a collection in the 80s or 70s, and these were a wild, like, black bar style collection of endlers, and this is what happened when somebody's small pond was left unchecked for, 30 years or whatnot, and they ended up this way. So, yeah. So that's kind of fun. They're all endler, which is hard to find, and so they're not necessarily a wild endler, but they are all endler. Which, yeah, if that makes any sense to endler nerds. If it doesn't, go back and watch my hour-and-a-half lecture on those. Also, I think it's definitely time to dose some fertilizer in here. I always try to feed on one side and then dose on the opposite, so that, and then I'll put iron and manganese and magnesium in later, but I always try to dose on the opposite side of where I just fed. You can dose at different times, but my fish seem to be so gung-ho about all that that they will come in and even try to, like, swim through the cloud of ferts. I don't want to hear about the mess of your room. I know it's a mess. Alright, so... Okay. Oh, are you guys back? Okay. Jeez, I don't know what happened. If I lose you guys again, I don't know. I'll probably just give up for the night because I'm a bit tired. But, let's see, what did I miss? Everybody probably saying, uh-oh. Just looking at comments real quick. I'm so glad that you guys are talking to each other and helping each other out. That is awesome. That is very awesome. And that is what I'd like to see. So I'm flipping you guys back around, looking at the fishies. Hello, fishies! So we're gonna feed these guys. Look at this rainbow fish. She's so pretty. She's alone. I need to get her a man. Bentley, you got a praecox you want to spare? Neon dwarf neon rainbow? Because these ones are pretty. And then let's see here. We got a little bit of dust. We're gonna get down to the rainbow fish. And a little bit of dust up in here, a little bit of dust. We're out of this stuff now. Alright, so now we got the live food and the bloodworms. Any advice for a first-time shrimp owner? I just ordered some red reelies from Aquatic Arts. Awesome, dude. I would say don't fiddle with the water too much. As long as you have a tank that is cycled, if you have a tank that once had fish in it and then you took all the fish out, those tanks, as long as there's no ammonia or nitrogen, those are the best tanks ever. Like, my best tanks have a bunch of crud. So, don't worry about aesthetics as long as your water parameters are where they need to be. Over here is my red Neocaridina tank, and there's also Caridinas, so I'm doing something different. This doesn't apply to you, my water conditions. They all look bleached out. That is this camera. That is not how they're appearing. But I am also seeing some interesting mixes of what in the heck is going on over here. So that's a blue bolt shrimp. Oh, it's just under a green leaf. I thought the whole thing turned green, like a green Hulk that was, yeah. Yeah, I think the vacation did help. It helped that I figured out what was causing the stutter and the other things. It's really, a lot of it is, well, I suppose there's probably a mind over matter, just stress issue, but there's also, I wasn't sleeping well. I was only sleeping a few. Oh, and we've got a blue bolt that is pregnant and and or dropping them. So she's either very ready to have baby. Yes, I can see them. They're formed, and she's going to be giving birth tonight. I can see them unfurling under her. So I'm always excited to see what the blue bolts give birth to. A lot of times it's these weird things. These are all the things that are not red in here are caridina. So you're seeing the tiger. You're seeing the tiger shrimp come out of these Michelin crystals is what you're seeing. So the red striped ones, those are not crystal shrimp. Those are not crystal cherry shrimp. They are Michelin shrimp that had a red caridina mother or father or whatever, and probably a something completely different as the other half of their parental unit. But it looks like I had 5 of the King Kong's red. Should I use little crushed coral in shrimp tanks to buffer the soft water? If you have Neocaridina, yes. If you have Caridina, no. They don't need that, and it can harm them. So the difference too, in case anybody's wondering, these are called pandas, red pandas here, and they're red with white stripes. See, the stripe doesn't go all the way down and around the belly. Whereas here, these are red crystals, and they are white, and the stripe goes all the way around, whereas the red sometimes doesn't. So there's that going on in these tanks. Also, the little rainbow fish, these are the Pseudomagil reticulatus, blue eyes. They are doing just swell. And I love shrimp tanks for raising rainbow fry because rainbow fry grow very slow. And when they're the first month almost of development, they don't actually seem to require, they don't seem to eat baby shrimp at all. Like, they just don't have that ability. Their mouth isn't big enough, but they will eat little seed shrimp and stuff like this that you see going on, these little white swirly dirty things, and copepods. Now in this tank, when I left it, we had 5 crystals, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're looking for a 5th, and then we had 3 of the and we've got a new pregnancy. These honeys are the golden ones are very interesting also. They were giving off babies that were incredibly beautiful little crystal looking red crystal shrimp, but that's not what they are. They're Michelins because their DNA is not true. Oh, and there's the other red. She might be pregnant too. Is she? Oh, I don't want to bug her too much. And then the blues in here, we had 5 blues. Let me get rid of some of the things in the way. And we had 4 reticulatus fish. So I see 3 right there, and a 4th one's over there. So we're good on them, and they'll keep growing. Again, thank you guys so much for helping out on the GoFundMe. That was very sweet. It helps a lot. Anything helps, especially when you're not working. Just getting by helps. So over here we've got, let's see, 1. What's going on here? We got a bunch of babies. They all have really good color now that I think not feeding them did some good. Maybe I was overfeeding them. 1, 2, 3, and she's pregnant. That's good. 3 blue dreams there. I don't see any floating up top. Let's see. Do we have any hiding underneath the... And this is just Brightwell substrate, in case you didn't hear before. It just keeps the pH down a little. But for some reason, my Neocaridinas are not doing well. My blue Neocaridinas have not been doing well at all. I did have, what was it? 10 perhaps at one point. And for the life of me, I mean, they've had a million babies. The babies seem to be just slowly disappearing. I mean, some are still around. You definitely see them. But for just how many there were, I mean, there were, at one point, the entire wall was covered in these blue babies. And it's not like that. And so I really would like to get them into another tank and see if that helps any of the problems. But I think I'm down to 4 or 5 blue dreams right now. And I have no idea what the problem is. It's not hardness. I mean, I've kept Neocaridina a long time, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know if maybe something about the Caridina shrimp is causing an issue. So I might be taking those out. Maybe I'll take out the Caridina shrimp and put all the Caridinas together and just have like a big who knows what'll happen party. Because I don't mind doing that. I'm not trying to breed the Caridinas for profit or anything like that, really. I mean, I might if somebody wants them for what they are, but I can't promise what line they are or anything like that. So here we've got some distilled water. I like topping off the shrimp tanks with distilled water so that I'm not adding anything to the tank that is like gonna be a sediment or an issue in the tank. Because if you think about it, you add something to the tank and the old stuff is still there when it has the other when evaporation happens, whatever was in the tank is still going to be in the tank. And so it doesn't do any good to add. And these tanks were full all the way to the brim when I left. Oh no, I shouldn't have poured it right there. That's going to get all cloudy. Sorry, little shrimp fellas. But especially with Caridina, definitely use either distilled or RO water. With Neocaridinas, you can get away with a lot of different stuff. I know some people who keep them as high as like 500 TDS and they seem to be okay. Let me take a look at some of these comments, sorry. Yes, I would love to do a shrimp and betta tattoo design. I would love to do that. Shrimp, just shrimp granny. I have a secret that I hadn't. Kroger Marcus, hello. I have a secret that I could not tell everybody, or I didn't tell anybody, I should say, at first, and that is, so when I got hit, my right hand, which is my dominant hand, got impacted. My fine motor skills, and I can't write or draw. And that's how I make my living. And on the computer with art and designs. It'll come back, I can feel it. But that was extremely scary and added to some of the stress that was going on, because with the lupus I was having a hard time doing anything work-wise. For, you know, like a 10-hour workday was too hard if like at the shop or at a place working, and I used to be able to do like 16-hour day or whatever, and I tried drawing left-handed, and my right and my left are the same. So perhaps my left hand will come out of this better. I don't know. I'm hoping it just improves, and that would be just fantastic. So in here, we've got some blue, we've got an interesting mix of fish that came out here. It appears as though the blue cloud endler, and I had not seen this until just now, you guys are seeing this with me, them and some of the Japanese blue endlers have mixed with the rainbow leopard endlers. So we're gonna get some interesting designs in here, and I'm looking forward to it. They're just a fun little trip for me. Now, this guy is the Japanese blue with the leopard endler mix, and they've been coming out all sorts of strange mixes. Then here we have some blue eye, they're not pseudomagills. These two are from Aquariums, and also we have some fry in here with little blue eyes, and the cories are hungry and hunting. Corridora julii, and then under here, let's check and see what's going down under here. Oh, we got the big bruiser, and then we also have, do we have any Tatia catfish or any? So we got some of the baby ancestors still going strong under there. They're still hiding, which is good. They were just getting massacred. Oh, cool. Some of these very teeny blue shrimp are surviving. That's good. I put some of the Neocaridina shrimp up in here, thinking that that was a very far shot that any would survive, but I figured some were dying down below, so let's give it a shot. Throw a couple in here. The catfish do pick off anything that fits in their mouth that's not quick, so those Tatia catfish, the blue orca the orca catfish, are savage creatures. They are so quick and so, I mean, just anything. Snails, rocks, they'll pounce on stuff when they get hungry. They're just bizarre. Okay, so we've got a bunch more little wigglers, and we're gonna, let's see, you guys won't see anything for a sec because I'm trying to maximize the amount of wigglers I get into one little dropper. Yeah, the blue shrimp are a little more shy now that you mention it. I don't know why, but they are. The green seem to be the most shy. Let's see here. Alright, so let's feed these guys some live wigglies. Bam! They get them so quickly that it's not even like there's no hope for escape when when I put that stuff in here. It's just gone the instant it hits the tank. Here's one. Is it going to get away? Oh, I think it's going to get away. It's going to hit the bottom before anybody notices it. Oh, it got away. The catfish, though, are curious what's going on. Let's see if we can get the catfish fed. We get the catfish fed. Is anything going to wiggle down to them? So thank you guys so much again for the love and the support. And yes, the catfish are getting them good. These are the Julii catfish, and there's one false Julii catfish that somebody gave me as a Julii, saying, here you go. And that was very kind of them, but it's not a Julii. So, yeah. Now, up here, you guys already saw this tank. My ruby tetras are getting bigger. There's a couple odds and ends of cories, and also a few, if you can see them, baby pleco in here, green dragon plecos. So let me get some more live wigglers. That wasn't very good. Come on. And we'll put them up here. And oh, there's one. Oh yeah, the little guy got him. All right, good. So now the ones that I really want to feed these wigglers to, and these are, by the way, just watch my episode on free food, how to take care of a colony of these and everything else. So boom, these are Pseudomagil Gertrude Aru 2s, and they will eat those live. They eat live fish food or insects or whatever. They eat them like no one's business. And then also I had a mosquito raft in here. Oh, I couldn't even film it. It happened so quickly. They ate it. But yeah, so same with this tank. I did the same protocol where basically everybody got overfed for a couple days, and then big water change, and then right before I left, so big water change 2 days before I left, and then right after that, I had one last big meal, and it seemed to do them well. These RE2s are my favorite right now, and I have a mop out, and I can show you guys. I haven't checked the mop since coming back. I've been pulling it every day, and I've been having an issue with the eggs rotting, and I think I need to get some methylene blue, which is what a lot of big companies and a lot of the stuff you see coming in from overseas is shipped in blue water, which is antifungal, plus it also has a calming sedative effect. But you can put the eggs in that for travel, and it works pretty darn good. Oh good, the male's getting it. The female of the RU2s, this is true with almost all fish, but the females cannot actually produce eggs unless they have enough fat and protein. And so with rainbow fish in particular, they will produce eggs every day that they have enough protein in their diet, essentially. Every morning you'll find that there are eggs, but they are, and here you can see some of those baby green dragons. Some of them are approaching an inch already in just a week since I pulled them out of their nest. They were probably in their nest for several weeks also with their father guarding them, because none of them had any trace of egg sacs or anything like that, and they're all just floating around, doing their thing. This one's really long but skinny, so I need to fatten them up a bit. In here, this was a breeding project where I wanted to see if I could get danios and cpds to breed. Not gonna do it. It's just not gonna happen. They're too eaty. They eat each other too much. Down here, let's see, can you see? Yeah, there's more green dragons. There were over 100, so we'll see how many survive. They were getting munched on by cories, which kind of surprised me. The cories were munching on them. But I guess with fish, as every fish, if it fits, it gets eaten. If it fits in its mouth. So, let's finish up here. Let's get some bloodworms going. Definitely like those. Oh wait, you know what? I'll give them this tropical bug mix. They like this stuff by Bug Bites. All the fish seem to like this. As Betsy said, the cories, Corydoria julii, are my favorite Corydora. They are always into something, and they move around so quickly, and they're just funky. I just love them. They just do weird things, and they're kind of spastic, but that's why I like them. So, who's in with what? So, because the white clouds are upstairs. In this tank, in these tanks, there are ruby red tetras, there are a lot of Endler mixes, and then there are two, also there's 3 Axelrod, Corydora, and then there's 2 Kribensis, Lacunja, and then here there's 1 guppy that jumped the partition, or 2 guppies that jumped the partition. I keep saying guppy, I mean Endler. Sorry guys. And then there are a whole bunch. See, here's one that jumped the partition, the RU2. But it's okay, they can't breed with anything over here. But you can see that food in the water, the live animals in the water. Oh, okay, no worries. You can see that the little the little green dragon fry are up on the glass now, and I've let this piece of plastic float because I can put microworms up on the water, and they'll sit there, and then the fish can come kind of cruise and eat a meal. So that's kind of a nice tip that I stumbled on accidentally. But I like this tropical formula stuff because you can just put it in and then let the fish hang out, and they'll take care of themselves with how much they need. And then at the bottom, it's relatively innocuous, doesn't seem to throw up the ammonia at all. Also, I'm not going to do all of this. Alex, if you need any help with the PTSD, hit me up on Facebook. I can give you some advice. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I never thought of PTSD. It seems like a war thing or something, but and I'm sure, you know, it is, obviously, and that makes it completely different in many cases. But apparently, you can get traumatized by, you know, I've just also had, you know, guns pointed at me too many times, loud, bad things going on. Beatings, things like that. I won't go too into it. This is about fish right now, but lightning, I think, was kind of one of the last straws on my nerves for a while. And then in here, you can see while I was gone, we're gonna have a ton of eggs in the mop. So there's I can already see just eggs all over this mop from the RU2s. So I'm going to take that upstairs and sort through it. I'm going to get off of this podcast or live stream with y'all very soon here after we give the rest of this shot glass to the big tank and watch it go after the wigglers. But tomorrow I'm posting a video. I hope you guys enjoy my hike to the hot springs to go find some really beautiful fish that I think you guys are all going to dig. So don't pour that into my... I carried that so poorly. Almost poured that into my Dr. Pepper. Alright. In you go. And I think they're already gone. Fish are pretty good at finding live stuff. This tank, I'm gonna also, I know you're talking to someone else, Alyssa, but the white clouds will be going outside in some sort of container somewhere, even if it's not at my house. Because they need to be free. I want them to be free. My Tucana tetras are still going strong, Tucano, and there's only 2 of those. They go for like $20 a piece, and I don't quite know why, other than they're hard to find. They don't hang out in big schools like most tetras, and they're hard to access in the breeding season when they are in a group. But yeah, so kind of interesting. But the plant that, if you guys know what it is, I would appreciate it. It's clearly a variant. Is it true you can keep male beta together if they were from the same spawning? I do not know. I don't think that is the case. I think females you can, and when they're very young you can, all of them. But no, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, Alyssa, that's exactly what I want to do. But we're short on space, and my wife has a good point of why I shouldn't do that. So that probably won't be happening. This plant right here, I don't know what it is for sure, but I like it. It's just kind of funky. It's grown out. I thought at first it was pearlweed or kabamba or something like that. No, I don't know. I don't know what the heck it is. But, so yeah. But I'm going to get some of this stuff. This is also a good trick when you're out of town, even though duckweed's a pain in the butt to get rid of. it will eat up a lot of any ammonia or nitrates for you. And yeah, if you haven't hit that like button yet, please hit that like button. Again, for the super chats, thank you, Betsy. I appreciate that. For all of you who are Patreon supporters, I totally appreciate that. It looked like 2 of y'all won the plant thing, so the odds worked in the favor of the people who signed up, and we'll be getting some of the plants out of this crazy jungle, which is actually going to be more challenging to break apart than anything. But I've got over 68 species now listed, and so some of them I'll have to probably ask a friend to come help discern between some of the rotalas and things like that that are very close to one another. And then these little fish, I'm really hoping those teeny tiny minnows are, I'm really hoping, oh, here's another green shrimp that's kind of turned blue. But I'm really hoping those tiny minnows are something other than, what is the word? Other than endlers, I'm hoping that they might be some sort of CPD or erythromicron or danio. We'll see. I don't know. As a rule of thumb, if betas are getting bigger fins, they are ready to fight. I like to be last on the list of people to get plants, please. No, stop that. You're getting plants the same time as everybody else. I need to send Betsy a lily clipping too, and also Lucas Brett's. Also, this swordgrass, this is bizarre. So this swordgrass has come up out of the ground, stargrass, and it has come up, these are all the same size. It was planted. It's come up out of the ground, and now it's growing off the nutrients of its own dead leaves and moss and other plants. So it must be parasitic or saprotropic, which is interesting. It's growing just up in the water or getting its energy straight out of the water column. Also, the difference between pogostem and erectus and Limonophilia aromatica is that nice purple shade you get on the underside. The Limonophilia aromatica has a nice smell, and it has a purple shade. This is the sunset hygrophilia, and yeah, so these plants will be coming out to y'all, and I hope that you guys are doing okay. Did you get my Facebook message? I'm not great with plants. I'd like people with more experience to go first. Is that a dirted tank? This is Amazonia Aqua Soil Light. So, kind of. You can see what it is. It's like little pellets of clay and mineralized substrate with nitrogen and some ammonia and some phosphates and things like that in it. You have to let it basically burn off for a while, a month to 2 months, before you want to put anything living in it other than maybe like a guppy or some really hardy fish. I hope you guys are doing well. I am going to lose my ability to focus and speak very shortly here. I can feel it coming on, so I need to rest. Also, I'm feeling wobbly. I seem to get like the sweats before all of that happens. So, yeah, but I'm doing better. And if it weren't for you guys, you know, it would be a lot harder. Because right now, even though I'm at home, I have a project to work on. Someone, you know, that's not like a hard deadline or get fired, obviously. But I really appreciate you guys watching and asking questions and being part of the community. Sorry, I was just looking at someone leaving the neighbor's car. But yeah, take care of yourself. I hope you really enjoy the video tomorrow. I'm excited. I went to a lake that has everything from little teeny sticklebacks, which look like little pufferfish when they're pregnant, all the way up to salmon and sturgeon that are almost 20 feet long. So it's kind of a cool video. But as I have been lately, I'm really wearing down here. So I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much. Things are getting better. I really appreciate you guys. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your fish and your tanks. Watch the video tomorrow. Go ahead and watch some of the longer, earlier videos, and then probably my next live stream will be a discussion on those last few videos. If you guys have any questions or anything like that. Yes. So I will talk to you guys later. Bentley, I'm taking off, folks. Everyone, take care. Good to see you feeling better, Alex. Yes. Thank you, Bentley. Good to see you. I'm going to go rest too. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Much love. Swim on. Bye.